What's up? What's up? What's up? This is your girl Dee Dee Walker Live, and you are tuned into the Dee Dee Walker Live show. That is on 106tbcradio.com, and of course, it is on YouTube as well. I interviewed some of the most amazing people, and I'm excited because in this video, we're getting ready to talk with two, special co-hosts that are coming on from Real to Real 360. So let's get into this conversation and make sure that you go get yourself something to drink, put a little something in it, get a biscuit or two, and let's get into this conversation with KYs, and then we'll go ahead with you next.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, peace and blessings, first of all, to Allah's 5% Nation of Guards and Nurse. I say peace. I am DJ KYs, aka Kato the Black Superhero, one half of the Real to Real 360 show, and I am blessed to be here. Thankful for having us on the show, and I'm just ready to get cracking. We just gonna have fun and turn up the way we do. I'm gonna leave it like that. Peace.
Again, peace to the Nation of Gods and Earth's Laws 5%. I'm Josh Jamel Allah, aka Mr. PhD, co-host of Real to Real 360, and I'm humbled, to be asked to do your show today. Thank you for having us on.
Yes, and this is your girl Dee Dee Walker Live. Listen, guys, I do have to apologize for the beginning. I was doing so many things at the same time, but I definitely want to go ahead and get into this. But I want to ask you guys, because I've been watching your show ever since I've been on there and everything, and you've had some amazing people on your show. So I would love for you guys to go ahead and talk about that a little bit. How could people reach you and all of that jazz before we get into the hot subject for today?
You want to do it, Kay? Or?
I think you have it so much adequately speaking to really break it down. When we got started and everything. So I'll go ahead and I'll pass the torch to you, and I just jump in when I can fit in.
Well, with us, we the way we started was we started out on somebody else's platform, and me and Kay had a conversation, and we said we wanted to build our own. So with a lot of the stuff that we were talking about, we wanted to highlight and be a resource for the people and the community. So we started bringing people on that were activists or had programs to help the community. And then we started bringing in some artists. We had some artists, entertainers, Southern Soul artists, which, of course, we love the music. So it was easy for us to do them. They can reach us at any given time at Real to Real 360. That's REAL2, the number 2, REEL 360 at gmail.com. Also, too, on our YouTube channels, REAL number 2, REEL 360 at YouTube. And you can get in touch with us if you have anything that you want to discuss, or you have a resource or anything of that nature that you feel like is beneficial for the community. Then by all means, come on to Real to Real 360. Also, too, Kay has the studio number, and he will give you the studio number right now.
All right, peace. That number is area code 336-807-9299. Again, that's area code 336-807-9299. And I'd like to add on that we have, other, like you say, numerous types of celebrities and everything. We had actors, comedians. We have young children that are doing great and want to, we promote them for their efforts of what they're doing to become young entrepreneurships at a young age. So we encourage all the communities, if you have, especially the babies, because Allah is the baby's the greatest. So we want to make sure that we platform and stream them out as much. And if you have something that you want to do and it's bringing forth enlightenment towards the communities and for yourself, what you're doing, by all means, you can come on our show. We'd love to have you, and we'll talk about it. We'll laugh about it. We joke about it. We even cry about it because nothing is off the table when we talk, because we're talking real stuff about real subjects for opportunities for everybody to express themselves. And that's one thing we as Black people have a shortcoming about, is letting our true feelings or the true nature of ourselves out into the world to let it be known. Because there are a lot of mental health and mental awareness things that are going on that we need to address, and it's very important. And I am thankful that myself and my brother have gotten together to build and bring forth this show to people all over, and say, because we now, I'm happy to say we're global. We're right now.
Yeah.
We're in places that I didn't even think would even bother to check us out. But it's so good.
Wow.
Yeah. So, again, and I have to give top notch. I always give flowers what flowers is due, as we do on our show. So if you give me just 2 seconds, I'm gonna give flowers to my big baby brother up there for doing such an excellent job with the people he's gotten in contact with, and he's a go-getter. He's a no-nonsense dude, straight up. I love him to death. And Real 360 would not be what it is if it wasn't for the likes and knowledge of what he's bringing, and his dream and our dream are now in the fruition of itself and unlocking. So I got to give my baby brother his flowers, man. I love you, man. Peace.
Love you too, big bro. Everything is real. We work together, and we strive to do the best we can. We try to bring some of the best people on. As you know, Dee Dee, you've been on the show, so that right there says a lot, that you've been on our show. So, we bring nothing but the best of quality of individuals to our show. So when it comes down to Real 360, we keep it real all the time. So whatever individuals want to talk about, and it's so organic. Like a lot of times when you do shows, people want to give you 20 question scripts and all these other things. We're organic. Whatever we feel or whatever you say, if it intrigues us to ask a question about it, we ask the question. As Kay stated, we've had actors, comedians, politicians, and singers, songwriters, all on our show. So anything is possible. We've had H&L Pickles, where Kate touched on the base with the young ladies, and they were little young girls who are entrepreneurs who have infused flavors to pickles, and that was interesting, and they're making a big hit out in Texas. So like I said, just humble for you to be on, and look forward to having you back on our show.
Oh,
hey, Miss Harriet, how you doing there?
Yes, Miss Harriet is out there. Listen, guys, I am humbled that you even have me on your show, and even more blessed to be on there with Miss Harriet Burnett, because she's an awesome and a phenomenal actress. And like I said earlier before, when I was fumbling trying to get everything together, you guys are out there doing some amazing stuff, and you are correct. You guys are seen in places you probably don't even know. People are sharing your stuff, supporting you guys, because you guys are doing some amazing things. Really, you are.
Thank you. Thank you. How you doing, Miss Harriet?
Yes, Miss Harriet Burnett is in. I guess you could say she's in the audience. Mm-hmm. She's amazing. She really is.
She is. She's a dynamic person overall. I really have to say that I've been knowing Harriet since 1998, and she's such a
in the 1900s. Woo!
Really, when she brings it. And what I love about her, she's true to herself, and she's true to about what she wants to do and how she wants to do it, and she makes sure she gets it done. So, I actually was a part of her fashion show entourage. I had the blessed chance to be a part of it, and ever since then, we was just like best friends. You know what I mean? So, love you, Harriet. We're gonna get you back on the show too, Queen.
I would love it. I love it. So, guys, you guys are listening to the Dee Dee Walker Live Show, and of course, I've got the handsome gentleman from Real 360 on here. And when I get a chance, I'm gonna go ahead and update everything in the show more, so you guys can go directly to their page and stuff like that. So that's going to be amazing. But I wanted to talk about a subject that has been in the news. We've this subject with R. Kelly, everybody. We're going to talk about R. Kelly. But this subject has been like, what, 20 years in the making. This conversation has been going on. And let me see if I can bring it up. As you guys can see, I'm learning how to do the share screening thing. You can see I'm learning how to do that. And as you can see, R. Kelly right there, he just got his sentence, 30 years. And from what I'm understanding, that's not it. He's got to go to other places and also go and get a sentence there as well. So how do you guys feel about this whole R. Kelly situation?
Well, you want to go first, John?
I'll let you go first, because like I said,
I mean, you know, I have to look at it from more than just one way. I really do. Now, personally, we don't. I don't have a relationship with R. Kelly as him to say how he is, to know how he is. I can only say I have a relationship in him as an entertainer, to know what he has done, what has he brought forth to the table in that manner. And for over 2-3 decades, the man has been phenomenal music-wise. And I am an R. Kelly fan for his music, you know. So the personal side of him that's being portrayed through media and television and everything that we look upon to give a second or third opinion on, that's exactly all it really is, because we don't know the true hard facts of everything behind the Iron Curtain. I'm going to just say that. Can we say, is he guilty of it? It may point that way and all stuff like that. But again, who are we to judge unless we was there or victimized by the man himself? You know, if he is sincerely loaded with all this, then 30 years, you know what I'm saying? 30 years, the man's going to be 80 something years old. Then to be turned around and tried again during the time he's serving 30 years. When is enough for me? I'm just saying, you know, I'm just saying. And I feel like accountability isn't just on his part. That's the main thing. Accountability is not just on his part. When it comes to being a good parent or a true parent, it's your responsibility as a parent, whether you're single or together. It's your responsibility for the governing and welfare of your child, irregardless of whom anybody is. I could be a multi-millionaire, but if your daughter is under the proper age of a legal statement and you give me the go ahead and okay to, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to make her a star, this and that, but you are not right there doing your due diligence as a father or mother to oversee that your child is safe in a safe environment, then you should be held accountable just as well, especially if you know the situation or if you have heard certain things. It's your duty and responsibility to do the knowledge to protect your child. And I'm going to leave my portion on that right there.
Well, to piggyback on some of the things that you said, as far as accountability with R. Kelly, I love R. Kelly's music. He's a great artist. He has made many classics.
Okay, go ahead. I couldn't. They probably heard you, but I couldn't hear you. Say it again.
All right, no problem. I'm an R. Kelly fan. I love his music. To speak of the character and accountability of R. Kelly speaks about the individuals that he's around. See, one thing about us, we don't need yes men. He didn't need yes men around him. He needs somebody that will hold him accountable and check him. You know what I'm saying? Instead, he didn't have that. And then also, too, it exposes a lot of things in the entertainment business, because during the period of time he was doing songs and everything else, everybody that was was doing records with him knew he was messing with little girls or whatever the case may be, and they never said anything. They never checked him. So
Yeah.
it's more than just saying accountability, you know what I'm saying, for as he's concerned. The individuals that he's around are indulging in the same thing that he was indulging in, because you're not going to be around a person that's not doing what you're doing, you know.
Right.
Even with the parents, you know, the parents dropped the ball. So when you're talking about giving this man 30 years, it's a multifaceted situation, whereas you have the parents, you have the individuals that's around them, and then you have to understand there's no cure for pedophilia, because that's really what it is. There's no cure for pedophilia. So being the fact that there's no cure for it, there's no matter how much time that they're going to give him, he's never going to be cured from the situation. And being like, we just came out of Men's Mental Health Month. I think there was something seriously wrong with him, that he needed counseling, because when you can't deal with an adult woman, a grown woman, woman of your age, and you have to put yourself around little girls and to feel like you're a man or whatever the case may be, then there's something really wrong with you. And it saddens me that he has to go through what he's going through. But I think that since he has 30 years from the federal penitentiary, federal system, that they're going to run all that time concurrent with the 30 years. So I don't think he's going to get no more than 30 years out the deal. But hopefully he don't do all 30, but he needs to be in counseling. He really do. He needs to really be in counseling. And people don't realize another thing, that he was a sex addict. He was a sex addict, and everybody knows that you can go into drug rehabs and other things like that, or they have drug programs, but they also too have sex rehabs and all forms of different addiction rehabs. And I think that he needs to go into that, because he needs to address his own personal issues, especially since it came out that he was molested as a child. So some of that can play a big part.
Yeah, yeah. I did see. I did sit down, since we were going to talk about this, and I watched some of it. I didn't watch the whole thing with the R. Kelly, when the ladies came up and they started talking about him and things he was doing. And one thing that I did catch is that the brother was talking about how he was messed with, and that was never addressed. And I do know, not in all cases, not everybody who's been molested or messed with as a child or will act on it and become a predator themselves. But like you guys were saying, it wasn't addressed. It wasn't, there wasn't who was in his life. You talk about the things that he did as an adult, but who was in his life when he was young to make sure that he was safe, or if this was happening to him, how was he able to talk about it? I do think that the parents, they talk about how the parents were like, well, we didn't understand what was going on, and he took advantage of the situation. And I can't speak too much to it, but I do kind of feel like, and this is just my opinion, and of course, if anybody has comments and they want to talk about it or whatever, I do feel like the parents, when you got a minor, when you want them to go out, and I think most of them wanted their kids to go out and perform and to sing and all of that other good stuff, you should have been there with them or had somebody in their corner to make sure that they weren't being taken advantage of. Because one thing I do notice about some of the girls, at least the last two that were left in the house, they were in love with him. They loved him. And so they were very impressionable. And then when you got two children who are very impressionable and you got a predator around them, they can indirectly take take advantage of that situation. And I do agree that there were too many yes men, because even down to the brother who talks about it as if he's the third person, like he's not really involved, that he did it because, they suffered through whatever they suffered through. Too many people were around him saying, hey, looking the other way because their pockets maybe were getting in line. I don't know the situation, but there were too many people looking away. And as far as the music is concerned, that's the one thing that, a lot of people, when I said I was going to talk about this, they wanted me to point out, like, because he was such a great musician, should we take that away from him because of the crimes that he did in his personal life? So I just wanted to talk about that a little bit and what you guys think about that. Well, told me a little bit, but
To add to that, I'll say this. I want the audience to understand, notice, I'm not bashing on the women who are victims.
Right.
I'm saying this. If you were a parent who knew about R. Kelly and knew about his situation and so on, an aspect, and yet you still allowed your young child at that time to become a student of him and not do your duty, but yet you turn around when something goes down, and the moment you accept monetary value gift over that, you are very guilty to knowing what this man has done, and you're condoning it by accepting monetary value over the value of your own child's safety. So that's what I'm targeting. So all the women who have been victims, if this is all tried and true, believe me, my heart bleeds for you, and he should get everything that's deserved coming to him in that manner. That's what I say about that. Now, R. Kelly, the artist, R. Kelly, the entertainer, R. Kelly, the writer, R. Kelly, the composer, R. Kelly, the genius, all these things as far as his entertainment goes is phenomenal. There hasn't been an R&B singer or a person of his stature during his time and after to have matched what he has done. This man has written so many songs for other artists that were mainstream that have gone monsterly even better under his penmanship that most people don't even know and understand about. He's worked with some of the most greatest singers, from Celine Dion, Whitney Houston, Janet Jackson, Michael Jackson, and so on. His catalog is crazy. So as an entertainer, you can't take that away from him. No matter what you're doing now, you can't take away the legacy he had built since the 90s. You can't take that away. Only way you're going to take it away is you choose for yourself not to listen. But that's not going to happen because he's still there. That's the same thing with OJ. If OJ committed a crime, why are you taking away his Heisman Trophy? Why are you trying to erase his history in his football career that was unparalleled? But because of the way media wants to portray our people in the most worst way possible at times, we fall victim to the same thought and mentality by what we're being subjected to, subliminally to, on a daily basis. You know what I'm saying? And so, again, take away what? Because if this man was to make music in jail and it got leaked out, I can almost guarantee you it'll be a number one seller.
You know
what I'm saying? It's going to be a number one seller.
I think you might be right. You might be right. I think a lot of people have like a guilty pleasure when it comes to his music because, like you said, he did. He was phenomenal at his music. I mean, he set the presence for music. He said, the step to step, side to side. Everybody loved it. The wedding dance, everybody loved it. So, and I do feel like, I don't think they should take that away from him, but they, I do think that society should recognize or realize, and this is just my opinion, that, just because someone is a phenomenal singer, actor, or whatever, and, doesn't mean that that they can't fall short in other things, and that they could be, two things could be true. You can be a horrible person, but you can make great music. And I think society too much takes the great music and makes that all about the character. They forget that these people who are making his music I hate to say it, they're human. They're they're either good people, they're bad people, or whatever. And I think a lot of people don't understand that. And so when something like this happens, we're shocked because we don't know how to separate the two. I like his music. Knowing more about him and what he did, I mean, considering what he did, and I don't know if we all know the whole story 100%. We weren't in a courtroom. We weren't, you know, the people who sat there and made the decision whether him to go 30 years. We weren't there. We didn't hear everything about it. But, I don't know. I just think that, people should separate the acting, the music from the people itself, and we wouldn't be so shocked when these things happen.
Excuse me. I look at it and say we as a community is dysfunctional because when we notice that a grown man is hanging out at the high school, taking little girls from the high school and riding off with them and things of that nature, and nobody's saying anything because over the years this have become acceptable that these grown men have been coercing these little teenage girls and flashing money in their face and things of that nature to make, to and have to entice them. So when you look at it, and we should have seen that it was going to be an issue because they were saying that he was hanging out at the high school. Why is a grown man, an entertainer, person that's traveling all around the world, has grown women falling all over him, taking his time to hang out with 15, 16-year-old girls, 14-year-old girls? So we chose to ignore the signs. The people in that community chose to ignore the signs of pedophilia. Because if there's a grown man at a high school, should he be ran off? Shouldn't the police be called? Where is the responsibility and accountability that we as a people or community have to take on?
And I agree with you. And I guess that goes back to there were too many yes men around him because everybody, I won't say everybody, but I'm sure there are a lot of people who recognize that, he's hanging around places where there's younger girls and, he tends to, be around kids who are in their teens and not just 16, like 14, 13 years old. I think, how old was Aaliyah? When he was together, or do you guys?
She was 15.
Yeah.
He was messing with Aaliyah prior to her that age. He was already dealing with her on different because her parents introduced him to her at an early age, at least around, because remember she was also on Star Search at the age of 13,
right?
And that's when she was discovered, and that's when all things started going on. You see what I'm saying? So it was a hush hush for a good minute until, you understand what I'm saying? So, and I agree with you 100%, John. The accountability as adults, friends, and family members, we all should be accountable for ourselves. But so many times we fall victim to the monetary value of the devil's claw that they just overlook things like it's okay. Just like we're doing so many crazy things now. It's sad.
Yeah.
That's why I said we're dysfunctional.
Nobody want to address. If you think about it, again, I got to go back to this because it's so significant. Remember the trial of OJ. The trial of OJ Simpson was the number one thing on television. It had the greatest ratings of anything of all time. But yet, did R. Kelly's thing go on radio? I mean, was we watching R. Kelly's trial like they was with OJ to make this so much?
No, we were dancing to R. Kelly's music. That's what we were doing, unfortunately.
And I think it's sad. And I also have to say to this now, in defense for him, I would like to say this. I myself and R. Kelly, we share the greatest sign on earth, which is Capricorn. So I'm just gonna let that out. Like, anything. What about a young lady who had the look and build, shall we say, of an adult woman who comes and approaches you, and the first thing a man was, how old are you? and she says I'm 18, 19 when she's really 15, 16, so forth, because women develop very quickly at certain ages.
That's
So
true, but that's
duty and
true. But then,
responsibility to do the responsibility then falls upon the man to be like, you may look that way, but I need to make sure, unless you
right.
got that conscious or want to, wham bam, thank you, man thing. But then, you got to still be, you got to be killed. But those women that may have tricked, because women have been known to do some shicey things for people who have multiple money or very valuable things that they feel they can get a part of. We've seen this, and this is no made up thing. We have girls who love athletes that have done things in all types of sports venues and so forth, especially in the industry world in hip hop. We've seen a lot of things as an entertainer myself, and even behind the curtains when I used to do security for certain people, like what's his name from Tennessee? That's them boys. A Juvenile. I did security
Oh,
for Juvenile, and I watched the
yeah,
women go crazy, try to get to the backstage, and they were young
yeah,
girls. You understand what I'm
yeah.
saying? So we got to be mindful, but like I said, I know you was going
Well,
to
you
say something
check
else.
that ID. Check that ID on a continuous basis. It's
Right.
that important, because when it comes down to it, when you're talking to the judge and you're trying to explain to the judge that she looked pretty good, she was well developed, and she didn't sound like she was 14, they don't care. Check that ID. That's what I have to say. Check the ID. I have three boys. I have three boys. And, and I tell them all the time, I said, listen, make sure that they are at this particular age, because it can go horribly wrong for you.
Right. Now, I also too like to touch on that situation. Depending on where you meet these females, if you're meeting them at a show, then yeah, that's on your security. That's on your security. Now, if you're meeting them at the club and things of that nature, and they're telling you that they 18 or what have you, and 9 times out of 10, if you're in an establishment that's selling alcohol and liquor, you're not asking for ID. You're not questioning the age, but also too, you have to remember, like, I don't know if anybody ever saw any of those tapes or videos or anything of that nature, especially the one that he gave the little girl the golden shower. You
Oh,
can't tell
God.
me you can't tell me that looking at that little girl that you couldn't tell she was like 13 years old or she was like 12 years old. She looked like a baby, looked like she was just starting puberty. Like, you can't tell me that he didn't know. Same thing like with the 16-year-old that he started to give, what I'm saying, they was giving each other fellatio or what have you, and the phone rings. He answers the phone. You can't tell me can't tell she's 16, 15, 16 years old. You
Mm,
see that obviously these are little girls
yeah.
that that he's dealing with. It's not like, what I'm saying, they're voluptuous and they have, what I'm saying, big boobs, big booty, and all these other different things, or they're easily to be say they looked at as they 21, 22 years old. These are actually little girls who are going through puberty that he has had sex with. And it's sad, you know what I mean? And it's sad that even with that, what I'm saying, you tell me your studio engineer sees you put a bed in the middle of the studio. So after you finish singing, you can go jump in the bed with one of these little girls.
Mm. You
And
know, I'm my inboxers are inboxing me right now. And they're like,
You still there?
yeah, I'm right here. But
Lost a little Diddy.
I don't know. I think she froze. But um, even with that, it's like, what do you say? You know what I'm saying? Because you look at the Jay-Z's who started dating Beyonce,
and
you know what I'm saying,
then
before she
and
was
then
18.
also too, the people around him, should they not one lady said that people around him, including the parents, should all serve time. What do you guys think about that? As far as the parents are concerned, do you think they should serve time as well?
I believe that the parents should be held accountable, and they should get as much as he do, because look at, you just pimped your child. You just pimped your child out. So basically, you know what I mean, you are a conspirator in the act of sex trafficking and things of that nature. So you're held accountable. This is your child.
To those who know, to those parents who knew this situation, and then again, if you accepted a payoff to keep your mouth shut for this, yes, you are guilty. Yes, you should be punished to the full extent of the law, the same way, form, or fashion, because what you have done was traumatize your child for the rest of their life. And you too should be held responsible for the damage you have done. But you want to be so wrapped up and take the money and run, but the damage is already there on a permanent basis. These young ladies will never be the same again.
No. And the thing about it, it's not even about the money. If you allow your child to go with a grown man, 30-some-year-old man, and you're 15 years old, and you didn't feel like you as a guardian that you need to be there to protect your child, that your child is on the other side of the country. And as a parent, your job is to protect your children.
That's right.
So it has nothing to do with the money. It has something to do with your lack of parenting. You were looking at your child as a way to get out of your situation, so you allowed them to go.
Yeah, so
when things happen and that's negative to your children, or you know what I mean, I think that's a CPS report. You know what I mean? Now all of a sudden, you know, these girls been living with this man. These little girls have been living with this man. And you mean to tell me now all of a sudden you want to go get your child? There's nothing and nobody could stop me from going to do something if you got my child.
That's right.
Against her own will and against my will, there's nothing nobody could say or do. I'm not calling the police to do a wellness check. I'm calling the ambulance because somebody's finna get drug up out of there.
Absolutely. You about to do a poof pan poof.
That's it. You know what I mean? But see, that tells you the mentality of the individuals. The parents need to be held accountable. They need to be going into court. They need to be prosecuted just like he is prosecuted. Sparkle, there was a situation with Sparkle and her niece, which was the 13-year-old little girl. You know, the individuals who put that little girl around him needs to be prosecuted. The situation that happened in Florida, they needs to be prosecuted. You're not going to send your daughter backstage to go see R. Kelly by herself. I know I would.
Not at no 13, 14, nor at 16 years old either. I wouldn't do it at any of those ages. I'm sorry, they're too impressionable. And I guess that's what I was trying to say earlier is that, you know, when you got an impressionable child, you know, around this guy who's taking advantage, and then you got all these other people around and they see this, they don't say anything, they turn their head. And then when it comes down to it, all of a sudden they're like, well, you know, he was going through some stuff as a kid. And I just think, like the inboxer, I think they all need to serve a little bit of time. I really do.
Can I ask Ja to go back, because he was saying something while you were gone a minute ago, referencing Jay-Z and Beyonce. You didn't get a chance to finish that. I wanted to hear what you was going to say on that.
You have to realize, like, the individuals that he was around, like Jay-Z was dating Beyonce. They just came out with it after she turned 18 that they were seeing each other. But they didn't just start dating when she turned 18. You know what I mean? You look at a lot of these songs that we grew up on. New Edition, they always talk about dating a little young girl. LL Cool J, Brenda Got a Big Old Butt. He was talking about how he was scouring the high school. Things of that nature. We have to stop allowing dysfunction to become the norm in our community. That's the major.
I agree with you. I agree with you. I really do. For those who are looking at this now or in the future, definitely leave your comments and let us know what you think about this, because I think that's a really, really good conversation. I've got one more question for you guys before the ending of the show, because this one I gotta invite you guys back again. We got to do part two. What do you guys think?
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
definitely. There's more, there's
We
more
got to
food
do
on
part
the table. you know,
Uh, I got another question, and this one it's the same subject, so to speak. I guess we could still reference to R. Kelly, but what do you guys think is a healthy age gap in dating? Like, what is, like, how far apart should they be, and then how old should they start in the first place?
mm,
Well,
wow.
I'm gonna say this: like, if you're teenagers or what have you, those who are in your peer group, um, that's your dating pool. Those who are in your peer group, meaning those who are in your classes, those who you go to school with, um, those who are you, if you're in, I guess, the church choir with the youth choir or whatever the case may be. But if an individual is, as they say, like I went to Roseville High School, so it was definitely noticeable because it went from seventh to 12th grade. And those individuals who are in seventh and eighth grade, you know, I don't see a problem with a year or two, what I mean, a year apart or whatever the case may be. But when you start branching out, whereas 2, 3, 4 years, that's 3, 4 years of maturity that you have that person doesn't. And to me, you're robbing that person's innocence when you
Mm,
start moving past 2 years as a teenager because of the maturity level. Now, once individuals become adults, and we know and understand that 25 years old, the brain is fully developed, so the maturity level is there. Then maybe you can date a little bit, but 5 years or whatever the case may be. But to sit up there and think that to a 20-year-old dating a 15-year-old is acceptable, it's not. That's not
yeah,
acceptable.
yeah, yeah. What about you, K Wise? What you think?
Wow. Well, again, that I have to echo within your pure timeline. But see, for me, I was always attracted to older women since day one, since I knew who I was. I was dating young older women.
He came out old, so it didn't make a difference.
And I mean, yeah, we're all Long Island products right here.
Strong
So,
Island here. Strong Island.
Yeah, that five one
I
six.
mean, when I was in junior high school, I was dating a girl in 12th grade. So, you know what I mean? I mean,
Ooh.
it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? And
K Wise, I'm gonna tell your mama.
trust me, it's too late to even argue that fact. you know, but as an adult and as a parent, when you start looking back to see things changes when you become that which you looked at beforehand. It was like, oh man, they bugging, they don't know no better, boom, boom, boom. But when you're in that position now and you have children and some man knocking on your door 35 years old and your daughter's 15 talking about I'm here to see your daughter. Like I'm be like that man on the on Ice Cube thing. What you mean, my daughter? And my daughter's 15. Who are you? You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna make sure that 357 is right at your nose that you got to go walking because you get ready
Lord
to
have
date
mercy.
357. And I'm serious. So age appropriate within your timeline between I give no more than a 10-year upswing, really.
Hmm.
Because
No, you
once my
can't. You
daughter,
can't because R. Kelly had that 10-year upswing.
he had
He
more
had
than
that
10
10-year
years.
upswing.
He had
You
more than
can't
Mm.
do
10
that.
years.
You can't do that.
Well,
And see
I
the
mean, like I say, I mean, it depends upon your situation and timeline, really. But I
and then
mean,
also you have to be mindful. People will use boys will be boys and be like, yo, it's okay for a boy to date up. You know what I'm
you're right.
saying? But it's not okay for a girl to date
Girl
up,
dating.
right? But it's not okay for either one of them.
Either one.
You know what I'm saying? Because of you're taking away that innocence. You have to be mindful of the development of a child.
Well, you know, you're right. That falls upon the family structure of how the family's doing. Because if mom and pop is 40 years apart in age or 30 years apart in age, that's the norm according to your family bringing up. You know what I'm saying?
I was gonna say that because back in the day, my grandmother, my great grandmother was like 13 years old when she got up with her husband, and he was like 19. But then that was like kind of, it was a different time. It was a different time, and things would look differently. And she never said I was taken advantage of, or, you know, he took control of me. There's nothing but love there. So it's just a different time, the way people perceive things, and then what the intent was in the beginning, you know.
Right.
Now, even with that, a lot of those times, they don't, when you're talking about early 1900s.
She was 14. I'm sorry, 14.
Yeah, 1900s. Individuals didn't, they didn't understand being manipulated and things of that nature. Because you're looking at a barter system, whereas like we've watched Color Purple, you know what I'm saying? And the man, he came and got Letty, and whatever the case may be, and the father said, "What are you going to give me for my child?" So the first thing out of his mouth is like, "What are you going to give me?" So when he said that, he said, "Nah, you can't have that one, but you can have that one." So you telling your child to go along with this grown man and submit to this grown man. See, it was a different time period because of that type of a situation. You're coming out of slavery, you're coming out of post-slavery and all these other different things. So it was a whole different look. Now, if you go and say, see, like right now, I'm 50 years old, and you see me with the 18-year-old girl, and I'm talking about, yo, this is my lady. The first thing you're like, what's going on?
Yeah, you might want her to blink twice. Are you okay, girl?
Right. And then the first thing you're saying is like, yo, he can't deal with women on his level.
Right.
He can't deal with being held accountable, because that's what it really is. You're in a situation where you don't want to be checked. You don't want to be held accountable. And with dealing with an adult male and adult female, you're put in a situation where you're going to be held accountable. It's just what it is. And you can't sit there and be like, it's okay for a young boy to date an older woman when it's not okay for a young female. And growing up, you know what I'm saying, of course, you know what I'm saying, we've experimented with older women or whatever the case may be, or older men, but it wasn't right. That doesn't make it right. Just because you've done it doesn't make it right.
You know, one of my inboxes, they're agreeing with you 100%, especially about the different times and stuff like that. You know, even down to marriage was more of a transactional thing where it's like, okay, people who were farmers, you know, basically, you know, let's get the two families together so we can farm. And, you know, it didn't matter what the age or anything else was like that. It's like, okay, you're at childbearing age. It's time for you to get married. Whereas today is a different world. You know, you've got so many different things, even down to the Me Too movement. It's just not something that is acceptable at all, you know.
Well, you know, they really got all that from, and I'm gonna have to be honest, they all got that from the biblical standpoint, because when Jacob was looking for a wife, he wanted to marry Rachel, and the father told him he didn't want his youngest daughter to be married, so he told Jacob, you got to marry Leah. So he married the oldest daughter, and he says, well, what I got to do to get Rachel? He had to work 7 years first so he can marry Then he got tricked into marrying Leah. Then he had to work 7 more years in order to get to the bride he gets. So again, the bottom in which he spoke upon is right there in the biblical persuasion, and that was the thing handed down generation to generation to generation,
generation and generation.
into the enslavement, into the slave trade movement, into the United States of America's whole law system, and it's been that way until people start waking up and realizing, again, going back to what he said, just because it's there doesn't mean that it's right. So who has to take responsibility and accountability of one's own action? We do.
And another thing is we have to stop allowing our children to be over sexualized.
Mm-hmm.
That's something major.
That's a good point.
Everything is sexual. The clothing, the music, the things they watch on TV. Our children are over sexualized. They're put in adult situations when they shouldn't be.
Absolutely.
So it's easy to sit up there because I know, like growing up, we wasn't allowed to sit around grown folks' conversation and entertain grown folks, and we had to go in different rooms and all these different things. Nowadays, children sit right in your face and have the conversation right along with you and your friends. Individuals don't even tell them to leave the room. So they're privy more so now to conversations that they shouldn't have been having. They're indulging in things that they shouldn't be indulging in, and they're doing it with their parents. So it goes back to the dysfunction. We have to really correct our errors and really check ourselves and going forward. That's really what it's about when it comes down to dealing with R. Kelly.
True indeed.
Ooh. That is awesome. Listen, I could sit here and talk with you guys for hours and hours and hours. You guys are awesome. You know what? I want you guys listen. Follow these guys. Check out their shows. They're phenomenal. They're interviewing some amazing people, and they just keep growing and growing. And it's like an honor to have you guys on my show. And so I definitely got to have you guys come back.
For sure.
That's for sure. We're definitely with it. Also, too, do you mind if we plug a couple of shows that we got coming up?
Yes, definitely. Go ahead and do that.
Tonight at 8:00 we have Positive K that will be on our show. You'll be able to watch it on Real 360 YouTube channel. Make sure that it's all one word, REAL, the number 2, REEL 360 is all one word, and you'll be able to catch us live. Next week, we have the Pennsylvania State Representatives, Christopher Ropp, who will be on our show. We also, too, have the Democratic State Representative for Pennsylvania, which is Jordan A. Harris. And also, too, we have the Mighty Whispers next week. And we have Sun next week. So please tune in, like, and subscribe. You know, by all means, we're trying to give you the best of the best. And thank you.
Keep it real.
That's what's up. Yes. So, gentlemen, I definitely would love for you guys to come again. I would like to thank everybody for tuning in. And of course, you know, whenever you guys are listening to this, make sure you get yourself something to drink, put a little something in it, get a biscuit or two. Because this one was deep.
Oh, thank you again, Dee Dee. We appreciate you for inviting us and having us on your show, and we hope that we did you true due diligence. And I would like to thank my lovely and beautiful friend and love of my heart, Ms. Harry Burnett, for chiming in on us. We appreciate you.
Yes, she's awesome.
And listen, everybody that's here, tune in to the Dee Dee Walker live show. She's always got something. I'm so disappointed right now. Tell your mama I was waiting to see her pop up on it so I can say,
no, y'all, she's going to get me. She's going to get me. Listen, I'm very honest and transparent with my audience. So listen, I was doing 50 things at one time, and these dudes were like, listen, you late. And I was trying to get it together, and I was messing up and everything. And Mama Denise is going to kill me. So that's why we got to do this again. We have to do it again, because I was supposed to send her the link, and I couldn't do it. Then I tried to do it while I was on it. So Mama, don't kill me, please.
Nah, we need you to stay around, Mama. Don't hurt her. We got to have her back on the show, Mama. Don't do nothing.
Yes.
Look, Mama, keep it off the scene. Keep it in the closet.
You guys are amazing. I thank you so much for coming on. You guys, this is the Dee Dee Walker live show. You can catch me on social media. You can also catch me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. Listen, the show is back on 106tvcradio.com. If you guys go there right now, you'll catch a couple of podcasts on there as well. So, yes, honey, I'm out there. So,
Dee Dee,
one more thing before what?
I'm sorry, pardon. I forgot one more thing, John. Everybody, we are on we have our own Facebook page. You can go to Real to Real 360 show. Jump on our page and become a member and add on. We ask people, we ask questions daily for somebody to answer, and we're going to look at your topics, and we might even put it on our show and to have a discussion. So don't miss out, because it's something. It's always something there that we also have. My last and final announcement is August 13th, 2022. Real to Real 360, along with Sabina B Productions 910, is hosting a Stop the Violence concert, one night only. It'll be hosted in Darlington, South Carolina at PD United Elks Lodge number 1679, Darlington, South Carolina. We have a star-studded lineup of local artists to top celebrities that will be there in the building. So if you want the tickets right now, better get them while it's hot. Again, the show is August 13, 2022. All right. If you want the information, hit us up on the Real to Real 360 at gmail.com, or give me a call on 336-807-9299. We'll be surely glad to have you and hope you will enjoy it. All right. I just want to make sure I didn't forget that, but peace.
I love it. Anything else? Because we got to definitely put it on there. And when I come off of here, I got to get those links so I can go ahead and put it in the description so people can just go ahead and click on there. That sounds, oh my God, that sounds amazing. So anything else before I go? Because I'm going to say the one last thing that I always love to say to my audience. So I got to check with y'all. Anything else?
Again,
we good over here.
What you say, John?
We good over here.
Oh, okay. Well, Dee Dee, we salute you, and we giving you your flowers. Thank you again for being a gracious host and allowing us to come on your show and do what we do. And we love working with you. We love seeing you. And I know Jock, he told me he's waiting on the contract, so you got to holler at him.
You know what I mean?
Yes, because I'm gonna put it out in the air. I would love for Real to Real 360 to do a podcast on 106tvcradio.com. So we're putting it out in the air. We'll see.
Yes, it's in that contract.
Hey, Harriet, I'm still waiting on my script, baby. I'm ready to hit the screen. Let's go.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Harriet, if you're still out there in the audience, we love you, man. And on that note, I'm going to get ready to go, and I'm going to tell everybody that I love you guys. Have a beautiful evening. Share this video. Tell your friends about it. If this is your first time ever coming to the show, definitely go ahead and subscribe. I have the boys from Real to Real 360 on here. Follow them. Check them out. And everything. They're doing amazing stuff. It was a pleasure having you guys on here. And one more thing. Peace.
Peace.
Hey, mama.